Good afternoon. Thank you all for coming. My name is Sheila Blanco. I'm Public Information Manager for Savannah-Chatham County Public Schools. And we asked you to come here today because, as you know, the superintendent likes to be open and transparent with the media. She likes to meet, it's usually about quarterly, and be able to discuss relevant topics, timely topics, and answer some questions. So we've got Dr. Watts, as well as some other staff members from throughout the district here to talk about a variety of things. We would ask you to hold your questions till the end, and when it comes to questions, we've got some microphones up there. We are live streaming, so if you don't mind using the microphones so that everybody can hear you, we would appreciate it. Right now, I would like to bring up Dr. Denise Watts, the Superintendent of Savannah-Chatham County Public Schools.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to have everyone in the audience today and in our virtual audience. And we certainly want to make opportunities to communicate with transparency and update all of our shareholders on where we are as a district. So excited to be here. Our media is a big component of that transparent communication. So I want to acknowledge their presence and express gratitude for being here as well. We are at the all-important midpoint of the school year, and it's essential at this point in time that we reaffirm our commitment to keeping our community informed about our progress and areas where we need to continue to focus. Transparency and collaboration are at the heart of the mission, and we believe that sharing these updates helps strengthen trust and engagement across our district. So the halfway mark in the school year is more than a milestone. It's an opportunity to reset, refocus, rejuvenate, and finish the year strong. And we do that by ensuring that our efforts are aligned, and we want to make sure that every student, educator, and family remains supported and empowered for success in our school district. We are very clear about our priorities as we move into the second half of the year. First and foremost, academic excellence. We want to continue to raise achievement across our district, give our students quality learning experiences, and close gaps where they exist. We also keep as a priority our student well-being, which first and foremost focuses on safety in our schools and in our buildings and across our district, but also inclusive environments that nurture our students to grow. And then finally, importance around engagement with students, staff, and community. And we want to continue to strengthen our partnerships with our key stakeholders. And lastly, this is a for real lastly, want to highlight operational efficiency as a key priority all year long, but particularly as we pivot into the second half of the year. Our commitment is that we ensure resources are used effectively to support student learning. I will say that I am extremely proud of the progress that we've made as we go into the second semester of the school year. While we know we continue to have our challenges, it's important to highlight progress and success as well. I am assured and confident that together we can finish strong and deliver on our promise of excellence for every student in our district. The first semester, as I have mentioned, brought celebrations and challenges, and we learned from all of those experiences, both good and challenging, as we pursue excellence across the district. We know we have performing arts students that marched in parades in Washington, D.C. We have sports teams and other academic teams that have won national honors and things like film competitions and singing competition. And we have cheered on our athletes to include, and most recently, the first ever flag football championship for our Savannah-Chatham County public school system. And that is the team at Jenkins High School. We've also celebrated state championships for multiple schools across the district. Don't want to leave any of them out. And we are, again, applauding all the efforts of our student athletes. We are also preparing for a district spelling bee, which will certainly exhibit the academic aspects and competitions within our district. We are excited about the awesome spellers we will have participating, and those that get a chance to move to the next step, which is, of course, the National Spelling Bee competition. As we greet second semester, let me just re-emphasize, we are doing that with renewed energy. We are inspired about where we are going, and we think about this work as going down two concurrent or parallel paths. One is short-term, which means we've got to finish this current school year very strongly. We want to do that with the momentum that we have going, moving in from first part of the year and preparing for our class of 2026 that will be graduating in May. But we also want to double emphasize the long-term planning that we have going on, reshaping a new strategic plan, working on planning for the 26, 27, and beyond so that we shape the future of our school district. Again, that will be codified in our next strategic plan. So lots of work going on, a big focus both on the short and long term. And as we enter this final semester of our academic year, we are doing so with great hope and a collective mindset and actions. And we want to do that in a way that is bold and fearless, but most importantly, student-centered and anchored in the belief that every student in our district, given the right conditions, the right expectations and resources, they can be successful now and in the future. Your partnership and engagement, for all of those listening in today and those that will listen in later, are vitally important as we work together to finish the school year strong so that we have a brighter future for our school district. Just want to highlight a few areas, and as mentioned before, I have a team of people here that will support me with more in-depth responses as needed, but just a few things that I want to highlight that we are looking at on our radars right now. And the first one is our promise schools. And as you all may be aware, and if not, this is what we refer to and what the state refers to as the Georgia Promise Scholarship. It's an education choice program that's created by legislation for the state of Georgia, and this offers eligible students in our district the opportunity to have a $6,500 scholarship for non-public education expenses in grades kindergarten through 12th grade. Those students who are eligible can use those funds for private school. They could also use it for tuition, tutoring services, and other qualified educational expenses. This does, however, funnel funding away from the local budget that we have and can present some challenges for school districts as we try to plan for the upcoming school year with both enrollment and budgeting impact. Particularly enrollment, since it's a key driver for our funding, the Georgia Promise Scholarship certainly adds complexity. While we certainly want to give our families choice and opportunities to entertain opportunities in other educational venues, we are also grappling at the same time with the complexity that it offers. The Georgia Promise Scholarship targets students zoned into certain schools in our district and their feeder attendance schools. And those particular schools are ranked in the lowest 25% in terms of their student achievement performance. So most recently, the state has released a list of schools that meet that criteria. We have 18 schools that meet the criteria. It's the 18 schools plus schools in their feeder patterns. So we are in now the second installment or installation of this scholarship being offered. Families do have to apply for it. And there is more information available for us to consider as we make our enrollment projections for the upcoming school year. So again, just want to reemphasize 18 schools in our district fell into this category. Early indicators, however, suggest as we look at attendance, as we look at how our students are doing on formative assessments, how we are looking at climate and culture within our school district, give me great hope that that list of 18 schools will be reduced in the upcoming year because we are showing progress in terms of school performance. And our goal, of course, as a district is to offer every student in every school across our district a quality learning experience. And we want every school to perform at grade level. That does not place them on any negative state list. Again, this has an impact to both funding and enrollment, and it cannot be ignored as we think about our upcoming budget cycle. So one of the ways that we are trying to focus in that area is offering some differentiated supports for schools that we know not only fall within that 25% or might be on the periphery of falling into that low performance in terms of the 25% statewide, is offering schools differentiated school supports. It's a key strategy for us this year to ensure that school improvement is both supportive and will drive success across our district. We know that all schools do not have the same needs, do not have the same challenges nor successes, and we know that we can't approach it with a one-size-fits-all approach. So our current strategy, again, is a differentiated one. It ensures that every school is getting the right level of assistance given its unique context, and we are meeting the demand of challenges in performance. So in some ways, that's school-wide. It's very intensive, and in other cases, it might be a lighter touch, but we are certainly working on all aspects of performance to include offering professional development, tutoring for our students, coaching for our professionals, and district-level intervention and support. So we are confident that we are making progress. We know that that list of 18 is going to be reduced in the future, and the approach that we are taking now is more responsive and strategic with resources and support to these schools. While we maintain a very tight focus around academics, we know that an important supporting piece of that is budgeting. And we know that this is an important piece as it relates to our stakeholders as we strive to be good stewards of taxpayers' funding. We've had quite a few reports about our current finances in the district, and we are working very hard to modernize our budget process, to increase transparency, to strengthen accountability, and to ensure our resources are aligned with student needs and district policies. So we are going into this new budget season certainly with a even tighter focus than we've had since I've transitioned into the district as the superintendent, so that we are optimizing every resource that our shareholders provide both at the state, local, and federal levels. So this budget cycle that we are entering into now has actually started before now. It started, I would say, from day one of this school year. It's a topic of conversation amongst my team. It's cascading down through the district and certainly out into the community as we are working on a new cadence of planning, of how we determine priorities across our district and how we are aligning resources collectively. A new focus, a new philosophical approach this year that we are attempting is more of a zero-based budgeting approach that emphasizes clarity, one that emphasizes community understanding, and again, responsibility for the all-important funding that our both local, state, and federal entities afford to us. We will place an even greater emphasis. I know you've heard the phrase return on investment many times. That is a phrase that is pervasive throughout our district as we are looking at budgeting for the upcoming school year. And we want to make sure that every dollar spent is a dollar justified. Budget decisions will be aligned to our strategic priorities. So we are strengthening financial accountability. We are strengthening our approach to allocating resources to make sure that it's done effectively and appropriately, and most importantly, that it serves the needs of our schools, and it brings value to student learning and school performance. I'd also like to highlight some work we are doing around boundary lines, attendance planning, and facilities planning. This is also an area that we know has strong stakeholder interest, as in many cases it may impact where a student goes to school now or next year and in the future. We are developing a very thoughtful, community-informed approach as we look at boundary lines and attendance patterns. And I think I have shown during my tenure that having the community and parent input on this process has been important. It's often led to us modifying our path forward as we listen to the community. And my commitment to this community is that we will continue to listen and use the information that we get from our stakeholders to inform how we look at boundaries and facilities in our district. We do continue to grow in terms of overall population across Chatham County and the region, and that impacts growth across our district, making growth in certain areas of our community faster, stronger, whereas in other places in our district, maybe our buildings are not at capacity because the population of students does not grow. So we are taking a very strong look at that. I'll say most coming to you in a more recent way has been some current boundary changes that we're looking at in the West Chatham County area. We are looking at boundary changes for several schools, mostly highlighting, and we'll certainly bring our Chief Operations Officer up to talk about the impacts at Pooler, Bloomingdale, and the new West Chatham K-8 complex. Those are very topics of great interest, we know, to those communities. Want to reemphasize the fact that we have given families input. We continue to give families input. And as a result of that input, we have made modifications that Ms. Davison, Megan Davison, can speak to that will be coming before the board in the January meeting. So I want to express gratitude to our community for staying engaged and want you to know that we listen and we make adjustments accordingly. So please stay tuned for more information on how we have shifted our initial recommendations on boundary lines and facilities updates. It did go to a December board meeting. It was deferred to a January board meeting, which is next week. And those materials should be available to the public now. Is that correct? Or can our board have access to our, does the community have access to our updates?
Not yet public. They'll be available, we expect, by Monday, but anyone can come to the meeting on the 14th. It's a public meeting.
Awesome. So forthcoming, the community will be able to see the updates that we have made, again, based on our planning, looking at data, and listening to our community. I will end, because I've been up here for quite a bit of time, and I certainly want to leave opportunity for questions. I want to leave opportunity for other pieces of my of the team to get up to speak today to answer your maybe more specific questions. I am well aware that we have a lot of work to do in this district, and I need to reassure everyone that I wake up every morning with a sense of strong urgency on fixing both small problems and big ones. I am even more dedicated than I have ever been to ensuring that our school district is world-class and meets the needs of every student and is a place where every family and every constituent can be proud. I am proud of the work that we are doing. I feel very strongly that we are making progress, and it's by only collective effort that we can do that. You've heard me say often, together we can, and that is the only way I believe that we get this work done, in partnership with both our internal teams, our school leaders, our teachers, our staff, our departments, but also with our families and our community. Our students are amazing. And every single day, there is an opportunity to celebrate something that not only a student does, but a group of students do or a school does. And it's in this moment that I would like to address how proud I am of the work that we are doing and how invested I am in the momentum that we have going into the second half of the year. We will not cut corners. We will not hide problems. We will go about this work in the most efficient and effective way. And one way that we will have our Board of Ed police chief come up in just a minute is around school safety. That's always a topic of interest, as it should be. It is a shared responsibility. And when things happen in our school district, we know we have to address those things. But we will always ask and expect a together we can mentality, because we know that that is the only way that we will ensure safety for every student and staff member. So with that said, at this time, I'd like to recognize and invite Chief Terry Enoch to the podium to address an unfortunate incident that took place at one of our schools over winter break. And to also, and most importantly, highlight and invite our community to be a part of the solution as we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Superintendent. With me today is Deputy Chief Rob Rodriguez. He's responsible for school operations and security. And on the other side of me is Captain David Gay. He's in charge of criminal investigations. Thank you for the opportunity to address the issue and the incident, but more importantly, the broad issue of school safety. On Tuesday, December 30th, during an after-school athletic practice at Hubert Middle School, a student sustained an injury to his hand following what investigators believe was an accidental discharge of a firearm in the locker room. Law enforcement and emergency responders acted immediately. The students received medical care, and there was no ongoing threat to students, staff, or the school community. Today, investigations remain active, and we're investigating the incident with support from the Savannah Police Department and the District Attorney's Office. While this incident appears to be accidental, it does underscore a very serious concern. Children having access to firearms and other weapons in our community. You see, school campuses must remain safe spaces for learning, for growth and development. And firearms have no place in schools, whether it's intentional or accidental. The safety and security of our students and staff are always our top priority for the Savannah-Chatham County Public School System. We're located in 426 square miles in 7 municipalities. We have over 36,000 students. There's 55 schools together with 62 facilities. That is a big footprint. But I got to tell you that safety is just not, as the superintendent said, the responsibility of the school alone. It is a shared responsibility among schools, with families, with students, and the community. Savannah-Chatham County Public School System, we employ what we call a layered approach to safety and security. And that is designed to prevent incidents, to detect incidents early, and to respond quickly when needed. This approach includes, but not limited to, trained staff and administrators who are vigilant and prepared to act. Technology-based safety measures, including security cameras, weapon detection devices that assist us in monitoring and responding to potential threats. We have our Board of Education police and security forces, along with strong partnerships with local law enforcement. We have clear policies and enforcement, including our student code of conduct and the Georgia law regarding weapons. We have responding mechanisms. We encourage students and staff to speak up when something doesn't seem right. We have education and awareness, helping students understand the real dangers and consequences of weapons. You see, we continuously review and strengthen these layers, but no system is effective without community support. Parents play a critical role by ensuring firearms are properly secured at home and by having ongoing conversations with their children about the dangers of weapons and the importance of making safe choices. We encourage students to report any suspicious activity, behavior, or concerns to a trusted adult or a school staff member. If you see something, say something. It can prevent a tragedy. In closing, this incident serves as a reminder that prevention starts well before a student ever steps on our school campuses. Together, through awareness, through accountability, through partnership, we can continue working to keep our schools safe. I know at some point you're going to have some questions, and we'll be available after the remaining presentations to answer those questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief. I would now like to call up Dr. Raymond Barnes. He is our Chief of Schools to give you some more detailed information about the Promise Schools. Dr. Barnes?
Good afternoon. The most recent release of the Georgia Promise Schools, it is alarming, but we were prepared for that. We have been following our student data since the beginning of school, and we have been following student data in the previous year. That data has allowed us to develop strategic plans, but in a differentiated manner to support each school based off their school needs. Some of those strategies are around investments to develop our leadership capacity. Additionally, those strategies are to develop our instructional leaders at each school, our academic coaches, to ensure that they are coaching teachers to deliver strong teaching strategies and pedagogical skills. Additionally, it's the support that we are providing each teacher and each leader about how to put the right things in front of kids to ensure that they are meeting the rigor of the academic standards that have been set forth by the state of Georgia. Additional strategies that we are investing in is high dosage tutoring. While that is in our foundational grades, we are setting our students up to be successful in the earlier years so that once they get to their tested years of GMAS, students have a fighting chance of being more proficient in state tests. Parents and community leaders are a vital aspect of our strategy. We're investing in developing a comprehensive family engagement model for many of our differentiated support schools so that we understand what it is that parents need and what it is that they want to best support them as they support their children in school. Lastly, we have a continuous improvement process where we look at all of our initiatives. We monitor those data points, we refine those tactics, and then we go back out again and we continue to provide the necessary feedback for our school leaders and our teachers. We are confident that the data points will continue to increase over this year. Our preliminary data shows, in terms of our universal screener data and our benchmark data shows that we are moving in the right direction. We are seeing progress in our adolescent learners. We're seeing progress in our middle schools and as well as of our high schools. That concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Dr. Barnes. A question that I've gotten from a lot of you over the last few weeks concerns the new law regarding cell phone policies. The state required that each district have a cell phone policy in place by the end of this past year, by the end of 2025, to go into effect next school year. Our board did, in fact, pass a new policy at our December 17th board meeting. And to give you an update on that is Mr. Derek Butler. He is our Chief Academic Officer.
Great afternoon. I think Sheila really provided the general update that we wanted to provide to families regarding the House Bill 340, which is the distraction-free learning environment bill. And as you know, the policy does not go into effect until next school year. I think what's important for our families to know this particular time is that right now, the current policy remains in place in terms of how it's operationalized in our schools. You will know that many of our schools currently have leveraged the previous policy to limit electronic devices during instructional time. So I want to make sure that we're clear about how that looks currently in schools. We'll continue business as usual in that regards. But more importantly for our families in terms of preparation, please note that as a district, we'll be providing over the next several months additional guidance and resources via our district website and other communication mediums to make sure that our families and our students are prepared for what will be a day one policy that will be in place. And so we'll be sharing more information with our families and with our board around what that preparation will look like. So we appreciate our parents preparing and beginning to have those conversations, but we'll be providing what additional needs that we need from our parents and our students leading up to the beginning of next school year.
Thank you, Mr. Butler. And we did send out a press release about that new policy just before we went on winter break, so look for that from mid-December. And any families out there who are interested can also go to seccpss.com, and we have a link from our main marquee about the new policy that will go into effect next school year. Just a few more topics we want to address. As you all know, attendance has been a major focus the last couple of years. Districts throughout the country, including, of course, right here in Savannah, Chatham County, have experienced high rates of absenteeism since returning from COVID. We have been working on that, working to increase the numbers of students who are in school every day. And to give us an update on that, I would like to call up Ms. Kimberly McGuire. Oh, no, sorry, I thought.
I'm back up. I do have our Executive Director of Student Support Services here with us this afternoon, and she'll be available to answer any questions and also to assist me with any specific data points that may need some clarification. But I think what we wanted to share this afternoon really is this headline. Of course, you know, attendance remains one of our strongest indicators of student success. And first semester data gave us some encouragement about our next steps and really some clarity around our next steps in terms of support. Headline, more students are in school every day, if you get nothing else. So we're excited about the momentum of first semester. And I'll just share just from a historical perspective, as you recall, our attendance rate being 74% 2 years ago, last year around 77%. And so we are trending in the right direction based on first semester data. And this matters because, as I shared with you, attendance is one of the strongest predictors of student learning outcomes. You heard the chief of schools talk about the supports that are in place. And many of those supports, which I'll just kind of highlight very briefly, include many of the attendance supports that are taking place in our schools. What we have seen historically, and we continue to see that in our data, is that our elementary and our middle schools are continuing to show a meaningful progress compared to our high schools. But here's the sub-headline, if you will. Our high schools are showing signs of momentum. And so we're pleased to see that. And we'll continue to focus our attention around our high schools and what we can attribute some of the early signs of success in our high school. We've focused on improving attendance taking, accurate attendance taking. As you well know, as part of our new attendance policy, there were some flexible but also some no opt-out opportunities for our students and families, that being our attendance remote learning option, which provided flexibility, as well as our attendance recovery expectation and opportunity for our students and families. And then again, just clear expectations around supports. But we know that those flexible, no opt-out opportunities were really designed to ensure that regardless of the circumstances, learning was a priority. And so if students and families needed to recover that learning and or to engage in the learning experience in a different way, that was available. But again, I'll just go back to the headline. More students are in school every day. We're also excited about, and you'll probably hear a little bit more about this at our Finance Committee meeting on next week. We're learning from our Everyday Labs pilot, currently implemented in 10 of our schools. Some of them are our Promise and our priority schools. Again, you heard our Chief of Schools talk about those differentiated supports, and this is one of those that has been shown some really early promise, and we'll be talking about how we might scale to ensure that we're providing more of these supports to more of our students and more of our schools. But this strategy really focused on strengthening relationships with our students and our families through personalized communication, some early outreach, what we call some nudges, and also really to help remove some barriers. And so I think wanted to share that as a highlight, and some of the early signs is that we see lower chronic absenteeism for those schools and those identified students compared to their school peers. And so, again, a lot to be proud of as it relates to our attendance work and with the implementation of our new attendance policy. A lot of work ahead, as of course there are students who are at risk, and until we have 100% of our students in school 90% of the time, we've got a lot more work to do. So at this time, that concludes our attendance update, and we'll be available to answer any specific questions around our attendance implementation.
All right, I promise just 2 more quick updates we want to give you, and then you'll have a chance to ask any questions you have. First, I want to call up Megan Davidson. She is our Chief Operations Officer. Of course, one of our major construction projects that should soon get underway is the renovation of 208 Bull Street, our central office, which has meant that most of our divisions are scattered across the county now in various locations. Ms. Davidson is going to give you an update on that project.
Good afternoon. I am pleased to announce that we are in the next steps of preparing for the restoration of our historic central office. As you will recall, the central office started as Chatham Academy and dates back to the early 1900s. Throughout the summer and the fall, the district staff worked with an advisory committee that was composed of community members and board members along with district staff to guide planning for both the academic portions of the programming and the facility itself. The future program for the building is expected to include academic uses tied to architecture, design, and related fields, aligning historic preservation with student opportunities. As Sheila mentioned, all central office departments have now been fully relocated, and the building has been cleared for the next steps in the phase to start our design of the restoration. The district anticipates a procurement solicitation will be released within the next 90 days to select professional services for design and then the future construction. We are excited to move forward with this project with transparency, community engagement, and responsible stewardship while honoring a Savannah landmark. As Dr. Watts mentioned, we are also heavily involved in our boundary realignment review. We are fortunate that our community had supported the Education Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax to be utilized in the restoration or renovation of some of our Chatham County buildings as well as the construction. As you may recall, the district determined that the land utilized for West Chatham Elementary and Middle School will be the future location of a new K-8 and a high school. By elimination of the middle school, a boundary analysis was required, as we currently have several elementary schools that are zoned to that middle school. After careful review, we have determined that it is best to maximize our buildings by creating an early learning center that will be housed at the current site of Pooler Elementary, and Bloomingdale will be phased into a K-8 model, with 6th grade being the first year that's phased in and 7th and 8th grade following in the latter 2 years. We will be speaking more on the boundary realignment proposal and making board recommendations for approval at the upcoming board meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Davidson. And if anybody in the community wants to know where a department is located now that used to formerly be in 208 Bull Street at our central office, you can find that information on sccpss.com, linked to from the main marquee. Just look for the slide that says relocations. Click that link, and we have a whole chart showing what department has moved where. One last quick update before we get to questions. Every year, one of the biggest events that we throw throughout the district is our Student Success Expo. That coincides with the kickoff of our choice programs application process, and that is happening tomorrow. So that's a very big deal for us, and I want to call up right now our choice programs coordinator, Jessica Horton, to talk about that.
Good afternoon. Tomorrow, we will be opening our applications for the District's Choice Program application process. Those applications will be open from January 10th to January 25th. And that opening of the application coincides with our Student Success Expo, which is tomorrow from 10 to 3 at the Davis Edwards Harris Educational Complex in Garden City. Also, it is an opportunity during that same window from January 10th to January 25th for parents who have students who will be 4 on or before September 1st. They can apply for Georgia Pre-K. And parents of 3-year-olds can apply for our Little Acorn Academy program.
Thank you, Ms. Horton. All right, that does it for our updates. And I know that took a while, but we had a lot of stuff to talk about. If you have any questions, just let me know who you would like to address that question to or what topic. And please, as I asked, if you will not mind using the microphone up here so that the question is heard on the live stream as well. Anybody have any? Okay.
Can I speak with Chief Enoch?
Sure, Chief Enoch.
Hi, Chief Enoch. Ansley Franco with the Savannah Morning News. I was just wondering, well, I have a few questions about the incident that happened over winter break. First off, what role is SPD playing in the investigation?
Well, I'm going to defer that over to Captain Gay, who's over criminal investigations.
So they obviously were part of the initial response that the chief highlighted earlier. Other than that, the only thing I can add, because it is an active investigation, is obviously due to the size and the resources. SPD has different things that we're able to leverage as part of the investigation. So unfortunately, that's all I can say at this time.
Okay, thank you. Another question of mine is, why were the weapons detectors, which are often used in, or I guess always used, in extracurricular activities and during the school day, not utilized during the practice?
So that's an administrative matter we're looking at. It was a missed opportunity. We recognize that. And we're always looking at our layer of security and opportunity to strengthen that. Even though it was a day that school was not in, they were not entering in through the main entry points where we have metal detectors. It was a practice in the gym. But again, detection and scanning and all those things are still expectations that we have, and that's something that we're currently looking into.
Gotcha, thank you. And my last question is, if any, what changes will be made after this incident?
Well, let me tell you, there's always opportunities for improvement. And, you know, we're doing an after-action review of that incident like we do any incident. Some don't make the media, but we're constantly looking at what we're doing and what we can do better. We do that district-wide. When an opportunity to make our schools present itself, we take advantage of it. And in this situation, we will definitely be looking at how we can improve and strengthen our after-school hours, even when schools are closed and anytime our buildings are being utilized.
Great, thank you all.
Does anybody else have any questions for Chief or Kansas Police or any other questions for the folks that are here? All right. Thank you all very much for coming. We appreciate it. And thank you also for sharing the information with your viewers or your readers. Thank you.